What's up everyone, this is FP Sticks bringing you some more Go Battle League battles here in the Ultra League, and in today's video I'm running a team with Articuno in the lead and then two fighters behind it to kind of provide coverage for any steel types or opposing ice types that I might see in the lead. Articuno used to be a really solid pick in Open Ultra League, like way back in the day, Season 2, Season 3. Articuno is definitely kind of a fun core breaker in the Open Ultra League, and on the current rotation of leagues right now we either have Open Ultra or Catch Cup, so I decided to do some battles here in Open Ultra League. But in this video I do have a battle featured in here that was like one of my most insane battles that I have had in a long time, so when we get there I'll definitely I might slow it down a little bit and talk through what's going on. But let's jump straight into these battles. Let me know down in the comments, what league have you been playing in on this current rotation? I know that the two choices of leagues are might not be your favorite choice between Catch Cup and Ultra League. I know like average viewership on Twitch and YouTube in general during these current league rotations is always a lot lower than normal, so let me know down in the comments what you enjoy playing. You saw there my Toxicroak got absolutely demolished by that Gallade, and my opponent has a Typhlosion in the lead. Really not great. My Articuno is running Ancient Power because I just don't have a Hurricane Articuno built yet, and this Ancient Power rock damage will be able to hit for super effective on the Typhlosion. I do get a shield there surprisingly, and my opponent is opting to stay in, so I feel like Poliwrath is going to have a lot of play against whatever they have in the back. I do correctly shield up the Solar Beam, that's really good for me. I'm going to throw this Dynamic Punch after 4 Mud Shots, so 8 of my fast turns align with 10 of their turns to avoid them sneaking in an extra Incinerate. Now, because my opponent shielded there, I'm going to opt to actually let this move go through because I knew it was a Blast Burn. I knew they didn't have enough energy for the Solar Beam. They end up having a Wall Rain in the back, so Poliwrath is going to do a lot of work here, farming up as much as I possibly can, but this game is pretty much over. Poliwrath is going to be able to cleanly take out this Wall Rain and the Typhlosion as well, and I think my opponent either crashed the app or lagged out of the game, because whenever you get this instance of where their Pokemon is coming out really slow like that, that is typically what occurs. But Poliwrath actually doing a lot of work in this game. I ended up using the Toxicroak on the safe swap and discovered really quickly that that was not safe at all. That Gallade absolutely melted it. Articuno and a Kingdra, fairly neutral matchup here. You do want to get these Icy Wind debuffs off as quickly as possible to reduce that Dragon Breath damage. And it's always a tough call whether or not the Kingdra is going to throw Octazooka or just go straight for the Outrage nuke. So I try to call a bait. They end up going for Outrage. That really hurts, but I'm able to survive it. This Icy Wind is not going to be enough to take out the Kingdra, but I should be able to farm it down, and I'm able to barely win the lead there. They end up coming in with a Poison Jab, Alolan Muck. Toxicroak, very solid response to this. I resist the poison damage. I resist all of the possible charge moves that Alolan Muck could throw at me. So you see me farming up as much as possible. Out comes a Greedent, and holy cow, I have 2 fighters in the back, and they have 2 things that really don't do very well, 2 fighting types. So I'm just going to keep my Toxicroak aligned with the Alolan Muck, and now have my Poliwrath be on this Greedent. They went for Crunch to attempt to get a debuff, but this game is definitely over. I had very positive alignment there. Pretty tough for my opponent to come back. Okay, Gyarados in the lead. Another neutral matchup. And so once again, I want to get this Icy Wind damage off before they throw a move. I'm very surprised they haven't thrown a move yet. They're going to let it go through. And they're going to throw right here. Both Aqua Tail and Crunch hit for neutral. They end up going for Crunch, most likely trying to go for the debuff. Now, they definitely win the CMP tie here because Gyarados has a lot higher of attack than Articuno. But I'm opting to play this kind of similarly to how I played the Kingdra lead. I'm going to soft win the lead and unfortunately get farmed all the way down by this Walrein. Now there is a case to be made. I could have swapped in my Toxicroak right there, and that might have been a better play. However, Poliwrath is a pretty solid response to this Walrein, so I just wanted to align my hard counters. But they baited me with an Icicle Spear, and then I'm going to commit my second shield on this Earthquake. I'm in kind of a tough spot here. I'm really hoping that whatever they have in the back is going to be weak to Toxicroak. I'm very surprised that they ended up shielding that Dynamic Punch. And they ended up committing both of their shields as well. So it's looking like Poliwrath is going to be able to have some play against whatever they have in the back. One Dynamic Punch is not going to be able to knock them out. I'm actually going to swap into my Toxicroak right here. And I'm thinking that my Poliwrath might have more play against whatever they have in the back. I need to throw this Mud Bomb before they're able to get to an Earthquake. I think if I would have committed to the Sludge Bomb there, I would have been in a much better spot. Because now I unfortunately cannot Mud Shot down this Walrein. What is in the back? They still have not swapped out. What is in the back? It is a Swampert. And yes, if I would have thrown the Sludge Bomb onto that Walrein, potentially taking it out, would have done enough counter damage to this Swampert. Potentially a Dynamic Punch would have been able to take it out late game, but unfortunate there. Good game. Okay, this is the game, folks. This game was absolutely insane. So Talonflame lead is not good at all. I don't get an extra Ice Shard through there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw one Ice Shard and then throw the Ancient Power here. That's 3 turns against 5 turns. I really want to catch a Flame Charge onto my Poliwrath. So what I do there is I throw the Ice Shard, I wait for 1 second to align 5 turns with 5 turns, and I'm able to catch this Flame Charge. That was a really big catch for me. I know that they're farming up. They have enough energy for a Brave Bird here, and they're boosted. They're going to commit their second shield there, worried that I had Scald, but I'm going to throw another Ice Punch here. And definitely not going to be enough to KO. Now, if they Brave Bird me here, I know that I can potentially either Ice Shard them down or just counter them down. So I call the Flame Charge bait. They bring in Blastoise. They're going to be able to get a really big farm off of my Poliwrath here. But I'm going to be able to hit for a lot of neutral damage. I do not want to get farmed all the way down. So I'm going to swap into the Toxicroak here. I will shield up this Hydro Cannon, and I want to farm up as much as possible to have some residual energy for whatever's going to come in. Gonna throw the Sludge Bomb right here. I do not want to get hit by another Hydro Cannon. I know their Talonflame still has some energy loaded. They end up bringing in a Swampert here. I'm gonna throw right on the CMP tie and hoping that they throw immediately and do not overfarm. And it was in fact a CMP tie. However, their Talonflame is still fairly healthy. And I gotta deal with this Swampert, so I know that I'm gonna have to catch a move at some point in this game. I bring in my Articuno. I'm able to get to this Icy Wind before the Swampert can get to a Hydro Cannon. And once again, I feel like the Talonflame is one Incinerate away from a Flame Charge. We're going to throw one Ice Shard, wait a second, and then successfully catch the Flame Charge onto my Poliwrath. Down goes the Poliwrath, and I am going to barely be able to get to this Icy Wind before I get farmed down. And we're able to take that game. The calculated catches there really allowed me to win that game, and it was very exciting when I was doing this live on stream. I was pretty hyped after that game. Good game to my opponent there. Articuno into Swampert. This is favorable for the Articuno, but you do have to end up shielding the first move because that is the Hydro Cannon that's going to do the most damage, and then you can start ripping off these Icy Wind debuffs. So I'm going to throw one Icy Wind here, and then oftentimes the Swampert tends to swap out to clear the debuff. We get some weird fast turn like pause and desync here, but I don't think my opponent got any extra energy through. Gonna throw the next Icy Wind right away. I do not want to get hit by another Hydro before I get this debuff off. And I'm going to catch this Hydro Cannon on my Poliwrath, which is wasted energy from my opponent, so really nice on my part. Out comes a Togekiss. I'm really glad that I baited this thing out now, This means that my Toxicroak gets to avoid the Togekiss, and I get their final shield with that Ice Punch. 2 Ice Punches from Poliwrath would not threaten a KO from a Togekiss, so arguably that's a mistake on my opponent's end, but they might have not known how much an Ice Punch did. I do have to shield up this move. I was expecting them to have Ancient Power, but I'm going to farm up as much as possible, and I'm actually just going to commit to the full farm down here. If they bring out Swampert, I'm just going to Icy Wind it and get rid of it. And then I have enough energy to throw another charge move at whatever they have in the back. So we're going to see what they have. I wait to see. And it's a Venusaur. This game is so over. Going to land the Icy Wind and reveal the Toxicroak. And that is GG right there. Good game to my opponent. This team was pretty fun, using some definitely kind of off-meta and interesting picks here. Machamp lead is actually kind of rough for my team. The fighting type damage does hit for neutral. I knew this was only a cross shot because they threw before they even had enough energy for the Rock Slide, but I have to respect the damage. I did not get an Icy Wind debuff off yet, and that would have done a lot of neutral damage. They end up shielding that. I'm going to go into the Poliwrath here, start mixing it up and see what they have in the back. I bait out a Golbat. Really glad that I made the move into the Poliwrath here, so my Toxicroak gets to avoid it. Poliwrath is the more flexible option on the safe swap between the two fighters, just because Ice Punch is able to hit for neutral in a lot of these scenarios, and actually able to hit for super effective on the Crobat in this case. So I'm really hoping that I can get a shield from this Crobat. This was a CMP tie if they ended up throwing their energy here, but they end up shielding it, and they're going to commit to the farm down. That is totally fine by me. I can bring in my Articuno, farm them down, and then see what they want to do here. I'm going to swap into my Toxicroak right away. I end up catching a move on my Toxicroak. I know this is going to be resistant damage. And in the back is a Walrein, so we're in a very good spot here with the Toxicroak. The two fighters in the back able to put in some work in the end game here. And I knew I had to shield up that Icicle Spear no matter what, because that was going to do the most damage compared to anything that Machamp would throw at me. So I go for the Sludge Bomb, take it out, and then I can easily get to a Mud Bomb here. And this will be able to take out the Shadow Machamp. Shadow Machamp, super glassy. Even in Ultra League, it's very glassy. So we're able to take that game there. Good game. Articuno into Blaziken. Okay. This is a prime example of a team comp where there is no way that I'm going to be able to win. Out comes an Armored Mewtwo. This is an unbelievably hard punish to Poliwrath, because this Armored Mewtwo can farm me all the way down and leave this matchup with 100 energy stored. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Potentially, if my Poliwrath was running Scald or even Hydro Pump, maybe it'd be a different scenario. I definitely don't win that matchup, but they would get less energy coming out of here. But I am in a world of hurt here. I am able to get the Mewtwo low, but this thing is loaded, which means my Articuno is not going to get very much farm, and it's going to get hit by a lot of damage here. Thank goodness they are not running Rock Slide. They do go for the Psy Strike, which does a pretty decent chunk to the Articuno. I have to commit to the farm down here. What do they have in the back? I'm going to throw this Ancient Power to try to burn a shield from this Blaziken, and potentially my Toxicroak can beat what they have in the back. I end up getting a shield. Okay, we have a shield advantage. They're staying in with Blaziken. We might have a chance here. I'm thinking if they end up staying in the whole time, I might farm them all the way down. It's a Lugia in the back. Blaziken double Psychic. I have never seen that team before. Really creative. But that is a team comp where I cannot get any positive alignment at all. Really solid hard counters. Gonna go for a Mud Bomb bait here. And then we're gonna go for a tactical top left surrender. Good game to my opponent. Articuno into Machamp. Another Machamp lead, really awkward, especially if they build up to enough energy for a potential Rock Slide. That'd be hitting for double super effective. This opponent just throws Cross Chop right away. And I think I'm going to play this the same way. Going to throw an Icy Wind and then most likely swap. Going to swap to the Poliwrath here. They are potentially in Ice Punch plus farm down range. Now, they bring out a Magnezone. Dynamic Punch is pretty much going to one-shot this Magnezone, and I have a pretty significant energy advantage. So, going to throw another Dynamic Punch. They have farmed up a lot of energy. And my thought process here is, I dare you to Wild Charge me. Because if you Wild Charge me, I'm just going to farm you down with the Toxicroak. They go for a Mirror Shot bait. They definitely have enough energy for Wild Charge here, so I will respect it. And I do want to gain Switch advantage, but they bait me again. That's okay. Going to be able to throw this Dynamic Punch. And then I'm wondering if they're going to bring in the Machamp again. They do, so I'm just going to swap into my Toxicroak. And in the back is an Empoleon. Toxicroak had play against all three of their Pokemon. So Toxicroak absolutely just putting on a clinic here. I can farm down this Empoleon and then throw energy at the Machamp, and this is going to be a good game there. The Articuno Machamp matchup is always awkward, but thankfully for me, my opponents did not build up to the Rock Slide energy there, so I didn't have to guess about what move was going to be coming through. I think we have 2 more battles here. Obstagoon lead, kind of tough. I'm just going to get out of this right away because I have 2 better responses to this in the back. They end up bringing out Empoleon, which must have been a misclick because Poliwrath is a really good response to this. This is a very positive matchup for Poliwrath. Now, I do survive this Drill Peck, but I kind of want to keep my Poliwrath healthy and farm up as much energy as I can. This is already such a positive matchup for me that I want to leave this with as much stored energy as possible. We've already seen Obstagoon. They end up committing both their shields. I know I survived this Drill Peck, so I'm going to let it through. It does do a lot of damage, though. I'm going to throw this Dynamic Punch. Should be enough to take out the Empoleon. And then whatever comes in is really not going to get that much farm on me. They end up bringing in the Obstagoon, and they're able to counter me down. That's totally fine. Bring out the Toxicroak here, and in the back is a Cresselia. We have the alignment in our favor. I just need to get these Icy Wind debuffs off as soon as possible, and be careful that I don't get sniped by the energy that the Obstagoon has. So I shield up the first move, knowing that that was going to be the one that was going to do the most damage. Cresselia is so bulky in Ultra League and able to output a lot of damage with its charge moves over time. So I am keeping a very watchful eye on my switch clock, knowing that my opponent is going to try to switch out and clear their debuff at any moment here. So what I'm going to do is I actually end up preemptively swapping in my Toxicroak here, knowing that I can outpace to a move. And they end up bringing in their Obstagoon. At this point, I can just farm them all the way down and throw a Sludge Bomb at the Cresselia, and we are looking good. If they were running Hyper Beam on the Obstagoon, potentially they might have had some play here in the end game, but we are able to take that. So definitely a misclick from my opponent there, because if they would have brought out the Cresselia on my Poliwrath, they would have been in a better spot, but my Toxicroak would have been able to sweep their backline regardless. Walrein lead, really not good at all. Gonna swap into my Toxicroak, and they bring out a Talonflame. That is also not good for my Articuno, and it's definitely not good for my Toxicroak. I'm gonna go straight for the Sludge Bomb, and because it lands, I am thinking that I can potentially win switch advantage here. So I'm gonna shield up that Flame Charge, and I'm seeing how much damage my counters are doing here, and I'm thinking that in the 2 shield, if we do take it to the 2 shield, I can counter them all the way down and win switch advantage. So that is what I'm gonna try to do. Having my Poliwrath aligned with the Walrein would be very positive for me. Able to get the full farm down. And what are they going to bring out? They end up bringing out the Walrein. So I'm just going to go straight for this Sludge Bomb. I really hope that I get the final shield here. They let it go through though, and what do they have in the back? Unfortunately, they have a Machamp, and that is going to be GG's. I cannot beat a Machamp up his shield. This Rock Slide is absolutely going to melt my Articuno, and then it's going to be able to take out my Poliwrath. So well played to my opponent. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate the content. And I'll catch you all in the next video.